Hey there friends, it's Sarah here from the Nest in the West, and today I'm taking you along with me as I do my morning routine and milk all of my goats. I'm milking 5 does this year, and I'm milking them 1 time a day. I'm going to take you through my morning process, start to finish, the sorts of things I bring to the barn with me, how I set up, how I hand milk my goats, how I filter the milk and get it cold really quickly, and sort of just the daily routine with dairy goats. If we haven't met before, hi, I'm Sarah. I live with my family on a 2-acre homestead in the West Valley of Phoenix, Arizona. I'm a homeschool mom to 4. I'm a small-scale flower farmer, and I teach homesteaders the art of making beautiful wheels of goat milk cheese as well as holistic dairy care online in my courses and my membership. So in the summertime, I try to get out here as early as I possibly can. It is hot. This week's actually not too bad. We have highs below 100 degrees, which this time of year is incredible. It's July right now, and we do have some monsoon storms rolling in, so it's kind of overcast today and nice and cool. But generally speaking, we've got highs over 100 throughout the summer, often closer to like 110, 111 and higher. And so I get out here by like 5:36 if at all possible. That way I can get started on my chores ahead of time before the kids are up, and then they'll kind of trickle out and join me one by one and get started on their chores as well. So like I mentioned, I am milking 5 does right now, and we still have a few of the kids here. Most of them have gone to their new homes, but we have some wethers that we are raising for meat. We also have a few doelings that we have retained for our herd. And so they are locked up overnight, kept away from their mamas in their own little pen so that we can get that morning milk. So first thing, I get up, I get my coffee, I get a little light breakfast, and then I am getting everything gathered and put out in my little cart that I bring out to the barn. So I'm bringing my milking pail, I'm bringing glass jars and a filter. I am bringing my little basket that has all of my different herbs and things in it, just in case. Today I'll be dosing their herbal warmers. I also bring an ice chest full of ice water out to the barn with me. And this is key in how I get my milk cold really quickly. And that helps just keep it tasting its best for as long as possible. Also bring a pail of some warm soapy water and a few rags for washing my girls' udders. And that's pretty much everything. So I bring that all out to the barn, and then I get started. I do a bit of cleaning in the barn. I usually rake it out every day or two and toss all of the leavings into either we have like a manure pile, or we'll put it in the chicken coop actually and let them scratch through it, which is nice. They're kind of composting it for us. And then I get started feeding the goats. So I'm just gonna take you along with me for the day. Let's go get started. So our milking parlor is just an empty stall at the end of our barn. It's just a dirt floor, so we keep straw down to help keep the dust down a bit. I like to milk 3 goats at a time, so I have 3 stands set up. And you can see the girls are right next door, and they're actually on pasture 24/7. They have availability to it, I should say. But we do lock them up in the mornings just to make the milking routine a little easier, so not everyone is trying to get out here all at the same time. And so we like to soak their feed. This is a really great feed that we're able to order in from a mill in Montana. We don't have any local mills around here that would mill something specifically for us. So we purchase with a buying co-op, and it's a good goat grain. This one actually happens to be mixed with a lot of oats today because I'm running low on my regular grain. Pickup isn't till next week, but each girl gets about a pound, more like it's a little more than that now that it's been soaked, of the grain mix. And so I ration out the first bit, and then I'll add more as needed as I milk. Okay, so I've got 5 girls in milk, and so my routine is to let the first 3 out at the same time, get them all locked into their milk stanchions. So everyone knows the drill. As you can see, they've all gotten onto their stands. It's so nice after they've been in milk for a month or 2 that they really get into the routine and everyone is on a nice schedule. And then I go around and I wash everyone's udders. and then I'm going to milk them one by one, starting with the one that eats the fastest, ending with the one who takes the longest to finish her grain, so it kind of all evens out. Everyone's usually pretty close to being finished by the time I'm done milking them. And then I'll give everyone their herbs, and then I'm gonna swap them out with the last two girls. That's how I keep things moving pretty quickly, because I find that actually the piece that takes the longest with my milking routine is getting goats on and off the stand. That's kind of just like the weak link in the chain for getting things moving kind of quickly. And so I find that if I can get multiple goats up at a time, it really saves me some time. So I'm gonna get milking. All right, so you always want to squirt out the first 2 to 3 squirts of milk from the goat's teats, because that is where all of that milk in her udder has been sitting overnight, especially since her kids are locked up. So that milk just has a higher bacteria count, and so we just discard it because we don't need that in our milk. I love milking Dandelion here because she's got just such a nice udder. I'm excited for her to come to her full capacity hopefully next year. She had a rough year. This is her second season. Oh no, it's her third. She just had a rough year with some sick kids, and she was having some metabolic struggles, and so her production really hasn't reached its peak capacity. Maybe next year. She's got this lovely udder, really easy to milk teats. She's just not producing a whole lot right now. Earlier in her lactation, she was giving close to a gallon a day. All right, so she's my easy girl because she's pretty fast. But now I'm going to show you on Rosie. So I would not say that Rosie is my easiest goat to milk. She's got these short teats, and right now she's really full. She only has one of her 3 kids left. The other 2 have gone to new homes, and so she's just really nice and full. She has that soft dairy skin, so that even though her teats are short, once you get the fullness out, she's not so tight, it's fairly easy to milk her. But she does lean towards that more Nigerian dwarf style of udder, I would say, rather than the Nubian, which is more of what I'm going for in my herd. But Dandelion is Rosie's kid here, so that just shows you what breeding to a really great buck can do to improve. And Rosie has some amazing qualities as well in her production and her sturdiness and just mothering capabilities, and she does have a great capacity in her udder for milk and a nice even udder. But you can see, once I'm kind of getting this initial fullness out here, I'm kind of strip milking a little bit. I can get my hands way up here because this is where the milk is. The milk is not in these teats. If I just squeeze the teat, nothing's gonna happen. Let me get a closer visual for you there. Okay, so if I just squeeze Rosie's teats, nothing's gonna come out. The milk's all trapped up in the udder. So you have to make a C shape with your hand, and you're going to trap the milk into the udder and then squeeze with your fingers. And so it can be a little bit tricky to get the hang of if you're new to it, but once you get it, it actually starts to go really quickly and be second nature. So I am squeezing up here with my thumb and first couple fingers, and then trapping the milk in the teat and then squeezing it out with the rest of my fingers. You just get into a nice rhythm, and you can go really nice and fast. I can't really imagine a better way to wake up in the morning. It's so beautiful out here. It's gonna be hot, but it's still a beautiful morning. And get to see the sunrise, spend some time outdoors in nature, spend some time with animals and caring for other creatures. It's quiet. As a mom with little kids, this is just a really nice way to start the day. And the kids will gradually work their way out here and start on their chores. And it's gonna get loud and the day's gonna get busy. But I got this nice quiet way to start the day. All right, she's starting to slow down here. And so you can kind of bump their udder, just like their babies do, to get more milk to come down. We wanna get all of that. She's starting to get a little antsy here because she's out of her food. But she's a good girl, she'll stand for me. She's gonna protest a little bit, but she will stand and wait till I'm done, even though she's done. I do work on that with my goats. I don't like them to be the type of goats where the second they run out of feed, you're having to rush around to get them more because they're gonna kick you. I really work with them to get them to stand and be good. All right, so you can see these 2 girls are finished, and their udders are pretty empty looking and saggy. And that is what you want to see. Unless you're milking a goat that's nursing kids that are pretty young, their udders might not look like that. But these girls are done, and it's pretty apparent that they are. And so actually now my milk pail is fairly full. So I'm gonna go ahead and strain this milk. So I brought out my filter all wrapped up in a towel to keep it nice and clean. I'm just gonna use a disposable milk filter. I find that a really great way to filter the milk. You could also use a bit of cheesecloth that you are taking care to sanitize frequently, just to avoid any off flavors or milkstone buildup. Sometimes it takes a second to get it just right or it's gonna fit in here well. There we go. I'm gonna filter the milk. All right, this is a lot of foam. I'm gonna fill the rest of this jar up once I finish milking my third goat out here. But this jar is gonna go right into the cooler. And so that's gonna be getting nice and cold while I finish my milking chores. So this is Ella. Ella gets a hobble to be milked. She, it just makes life easier for all of us. She's a good goat, but she needs a little more hands-on attention to stand still for her milking. So Ella has these nice long handles. She's a very easy to milk goat. So for her, I don't need to do that C shape way up high. She does have some milk in her teats, and she's a nice, easy goat to milk. I say she's got better handles than my cow ever did. She's a nice, easy goat to milk. One thing she doesn't have are really great orifices. So the milk, while it's abundant and while she's got great, nice handles, you do have to squeeze kind of hard to get that milk out. So she's not my favorite goat to milk, I will say that. She's a good girl though. All right, and so the last sort of order of business before I let these girls off and switch out for the next couple of goats is to dose them their herbal warmers. So I've just made like a slurry here of the herbs I use for meadows. Herbal warmers, some molasses, some apple cider vinegar, and I'm just gonna syringe it for them. And they love this stuff, so it's not hard to do. Girl. Thin out. They didn't eat a lot of theirs. I think if you dump it on the ground for them, they'll eat it though.
If you're new to keeping dairy goats or just want more community and support on your goat journey, I'd love to have you join the Dairy Goat Collective. Inside the membership, you'll find a vibrant community feed, weekly private podcast episodes on a variety of goat-related topics, an ever-growing library of courses and tutorials, guest expert interviews, monthly live Zoom chats, and so much more. You can find all the details linked in the description below.
This is Agnes. Agnes has my biggest udder. She's got the most capacity. She produces the most milk. She's pretty easy to milk too. All of that milk is right here. There's no C shape grabbing up here. So much really depends on the style of your goat's udder as to how you milk them. And I have my milking buddy here this morning. He's gonna help, huh? I like to help every day with milking. Yes, I can.
It's really hard to beat.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Milking is going to give you really good grip strength because it's all about your grip, but it's also your forearms. And so if you're new to milking, or maybe you're coming into milking after a hiatus, maybe your goats were bred and now they finally kidded and you're getting back into the routine, it's always your wrists, your hands, and your forearms that are going to burn a little bit when you get back into the rhythm of milking. Sometimes I consider getting a milking machine, especially when you think about things like we do try to go out of town every so often. And so would it be easier hiring people to come help milk if I had a milk machine? But with the milk machine, you trade off the inconvenience of hand milking for the inconvenience of a lot of washing up. There's pros and cons to both. And unless every single part of your machine is pristine and you're keeping all the gaskets really clean and changing them out when they're supposed to be changed out and the tubing and all of that, It's actually cleaner to hand milk, even with little bits of hay and hair and things that fall into the milk. You actually get a cleaner product with hand milking, unless, like I said, you're taking really pristine care of your machine. I used to machine milk my cows, and that was necessary because they had really short teats. I do like the rhythm of hand milking. All right, so I finished milking the goats. I strained the rest of the milk, got the milk filtered and into the ice chest to continue to chill. Gave out the rest of my wormers. My kids finished up their chores, let the baby goats out, took our baby inside with a popsicle because it's hot. And now I'm just gonna take my milk over to my milk fridge and pop it in there to continue chilling. I actually have someone coming later today to pick it up. She is a friend who buys it from me on a weekly basis. And then yeah, that's our milking chores for the day. We'll come out a little bit later and refill some waters. We're only milking once a day at this point, just to keep things manageable for us. And so today we got 2 gallons of milk. We were hitting more like 3, and then as we have weaned kids and not continued twice a day milking, that's gone down a little bit, and that's fine. 2 gallons a day, 2 to 2.5 gallons a day is a very manageable amount for me, and I feel really good about that. If you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe. I put out weekly YouTube videos all about raising dairy goats holistically, all about using up their milk in the best ways possible, and I'd love to have you along for the ride. Thanks so much for watching. I'm cheering you on in your goat journey, and I'll see you in the next video.